Good morning, Rabbi Sai. It was 49 weeks ago, he said. 49 weeks ago. And I'm thinking that it happened so slow. It happened in stages. And we didn't really have the opportunity to even mourn. Shalom Aleichem, Rav Dambi. Shalom Aleichem. Shkoyach. Every day I think about you. And now, Baruch Hashem, we're coming back slowly. Shalom Aleichem to you too. How are you, Reb Shimshi? It's unbelievable. It's a tremendous simcha. For the last few days, every day, another three guys, and today a whole tziruf of people. And I think it warrants a tremendous niggin. La Yehudim, oy sava vayra, oyra v'simcha v'sasayim v'ikavor. La Yehudim, oy sava vayra, oyra v'simcha v'sasayim v'ikavor. La Yehudim, oy sava vayra, oyra v'simcha v'sasayim v'ikavor. La Yehudim, oy sava vayra. Oy Rav Simcha v'sasayim v'ikar, kein tiye lo no. Oy Rav Simcha v'sasayim v'ikar, kein tiye lo no. Oy Rav Simcha v'sasayim v'ikar, ay kein tiye lo v'avanu. Oy Rav Simcha v'sasayim v'ikar. Kein tiye love anu oy Rav Simcha v'sasayim v'ikar. Shkoyach. Lilu Nishmat Simi Maurice Reb Mordechai. Today's shir is sponsored. If you want to break out in another niggin, go ahead. Sponsored by Shushi and Joël Mizrahi in memory of Maurice Mizrahi, Eli Nishmat, Moshe ben Alis, Leah. From a talmid, not mine. Eli Nishmat, Reb Mordechai Dolinsky, Zchus Livrocha, on his second Yartzeit, who would say, time is our most precious gift, and we should daven that H-shem open our eyes and guide us to do the right thing. Shlomo should have an aliyah. By Shlomo Gewirtzman, Yartzeit Today, my grandfather, HaChaver, Moshe ben Yirachmiel, the Neshamos, all three should have an aliyah. I saved this email for today because he's sponsoring today. I noticed that he's sponsoring today, although he sent it a while back. Good morning, Rav Eli. I wanted to just write a short note to say that you and the MDY Tehillim are actually bringing Mashiach. The amazing kibbutz galuyos of bringing together thousands of Jews from all over the world to learn together every day, and also every type of Jew, Ashkenazim, Sfardim, such as myself, Litvaks, Hasidim, Teimanim, Yeshivish, Modern, Chilonim, and like we just learned on Daf Zayin, even Gerim, like Mr. Duffy from Ireland. Lev, where's Lev? Anybody see Lev lately? And even more importantly, the unbelievable ongoing chesed that is being done daily by the people in this chabura is such a havas chinam. What more do we need to bring Mashiach and Bet HaMikdash? Question mark. The spread of this year is real, especially when I had no idea of the reach until I hear you mention names of relatives, Robert Links, and friends, Mort Bloomberg, who are part of the Chabura, and then I really feel at home. My Daf Yomi life started a little over a year ago with a new cycle on Sechus Brachas after attending an incredibly inspiring Sima Shas at MetLife Stadium. But the Daf Yomi life was reborn when I started Mesechus Pesachim with your shir. Keep it up, and we'll meet up soon be'ezras Hashem, Yerushalayim, Abnuya next month. Oh! He realizes it's coming. You know what I realized this morning? That the final parak of Mesechus Pesachim, we are finishing Mesechus Pesachim, Erev Pesach. What's the name of the final parak of Erev Pesachim? I didn't even realize that. The name of the parak, Erev Pesachim, finishing Erev Pesach, probably will never happen again. Rabbi Sai, we are on Daf Tzadik Aleph, 90 Daf into the Masechta. Today is Daf Tzadik Beis, and we're holding by a brand new Mishnah all the way in the bottom. Oynein toivel v'oichel es pischoi loirev. Oynein, a person who unfortunately lost a close relative, has to sit shiva. So that day, he's a oynen he's patim in a mitzvahs, etc. But only during the day. As we learned, when Moshe Rabbeinu asked Aaron HaKohen, what's going on? Why did you burn the chatos? And Aaron HaKohen answers him, V'chalti chatos hayoim. If I would eat it today, hayoim, during the day, hayita beini H-shem. Is H-shem going to be happy with me? So Memela, we see from here that the oinen midoiraisa is during the day, and at night it's no longer a doiraisa rabbanon made a chumrah. So, since this is a carbon pesach we're talking about a iser kares if you don't eat it. So oinen toivel goes into the mikvah, and he goes and he eats his pesach that night. Aval loy bakachim. This halacha doesn't apply to something that doesn't have kares, like a regular carbon. Hashomeya al meisoi. If somebody hears a rumor, he hears that a close relative was nifter, this is different. He becomes an oinen just for that day, but this is a halacha derabbanan. We were talking about an oinen d'oraisa that switches into oinen derabbanan at night. This is a complete derabbanan from beginning to end. And somebody, top of Daf Tzadik Beis Amud Aleph, someone who's gathering the bones of his parents. Now the Gemara explains it's not he himself, because then he would be tamei regardless. Nothing to do with him. Even the guy that's in charge of digging bones also becomes tamei. So he had somebody dig up his father's grave. Let's say move it to Eretz Yisrael, and well, he's in Eretz Yisrael. He's doing bring it from one place to another place. Toivel va'oichel bekachim. So he goes to the mikvah and he eats kachim. Ger sheniz gayer be'erev Pesach. Ger became a ger on erev Pesach. He wants to be mekayim all the mitzvahs. He's all excited. It's going to be his first Pesach. Mishamei yoyrim toivel va'oichel es pischoi la'erev. Mishamei say he goes to the mikvah and he gets to eat his Korban Pesach. Why not? It's one of the mitzvahs, like anything else. He has to say Kriya Shema and Ma'ariv, the whole thing, and he eats Korban Pesach. Ha-poirish min ha'arlo, ki-poirish min ha'kever. We still say that since he just had his arlo removed, so it's as if he touched a dead body. And then Mela what? He's tamei for 7 days. He's tamei for 7 days. He cannot eat a Korban Pesach. I just thought it's an interesting lashon. I'm going to stick in my 2 cents here. Ha-poirish min ha'arlo. If somebody is able to remove himself from the arla, from Olam Hazeh, the Gashmias, but we're talking about a ger. Kiparish min hakever, he starts a new, fresh life. It's like he just emerged from a grave, and when we had that throughout Shas, he's continuing shenoilad. It's very first day, has no connection to his past life. But it's interesting lashon nevertheless. Kiparish min ha'arla, kiparish min hakever. My time. Why is it that a oinen could eat a Korban Pesach, but he can't eat a Korban Chatas? Kosovar aninos delayla d'Rabbanan, because he holds that once the eating of the Korban Pesach begins, that's already oinen only midrabbanan. V'gabe Pesach lo yamidu divrei b'mokim kares. That's today's sugya. This line right over here. This is a case where Chachamim didn't impose their gzeira. They said up until a point, look, we're dealing with a kares. We don't want this guy to get kares. We're not going to be so forceful in our gzeira. Yes, we added aninos at night, and we said a person should act in a certain way, but not when it comes to kares. Lo yemidu divrayim b'makom kares. The Gemara is going to bring another 2 examples where lo yemidu rabbanon divrayim. It's going to be a fun sugya, just going through different areas in Shas that we're very familiar with. Yet, by kachim, there's a mitzvah to eat a carbon. Let's see if I have it. Yeah. Here's the mitzvah. This is a say. Eat your chatos. Eat whatever carbon you brought. Chachamim imposed their gzeira and said, tonight not. Hashomei al meisoi. Person who hears, that's from last night. Person who hears a rumor, the shmooze that a loved one died a while back, and milaket at somos, As the Gemara, a person who's collecting bones, yeah? The time of Beis Hamikdash, Bekarev Mamish, person who's tamei from a body has to go through the process. They take the ashes of the Parah Aduma and they take the Ezav, they stick it in the ash and they sprinkle him. On the third day, on the seventh day, the person that sprinkles him becomes tamei. The person who's tamei becomes tar. One of those things. So this guy is gathering bones. He's gathering bones. So forget about him eating Korban Pesach. He's tamei l'kol davar. What's going on here? Hey Moshe, it's not him himself gathering. He called up the Chaver Kedisha. Do me a favor, go gather the bones. Oh, we're gathering the parents' bones. He's allowed to eat the Korban Pesach that night. Gershon is Gayer. Omer Rabbi Barachan, Omer Rabbi Yochanan. Machlokes Barel Nachri. Says Rabbi Yochanan, the Machlokes is only in a guy that had a bris milah. What about a Jew that has a bris milah? Does he have to wait 7 days? Same thing. Says the Mishnah, Haparish mina arla. If somebody has his arla removed, let's say he's an adult who his brothers died from a bris milah, so he never got a bris milah. He just got the okay from the doctor. The doctor said, you know what, I checked it out, I give you a special thing, now you can do a bris milah. Does he have to wait 7 days for Pesach? Says Rabbi Yochanan, Machlokes Barel Nachri. The Beisil Sarvi Gzeiro Shami Yitam L'Shana Abavi Yomer Shtoga Miloi Tavaldi V'Chalti. We're just concerned about a guy. A guy goes into the mikvah, he doesn't realize what happened there, and he says, last year I went to the mikvah and I ate right away. So this year that I just worked in the Chaver Kedisha and I just buried a guy, let me jump in the mikvah real quick, Erev Pesach, and I'll eat the Korban Pesach that night. And he doesn't realize he was a guy. Guy is not Mikabel Tuma. Akshav, Yisroel, today is a Yisroel Mikabel Tuma, and therefore we had to make a Gzeira and say, let's give him the longest Tuma possible. What's the longest Tuma? 7 days. Rashi says, well, as we had yesterday, a Zav is really 8 days. Fine. Not a Zav. Regular Tuma, 7 days. But B'Shav Yisrael, there's no Gzeira. Avalar Yisrael, but a Jewish guy that had Bris Milah, Divrei Akol Toivel, V'Oichel is Pischol Erev. It's Toivel right now, here and then, and he doesn't have to wait 7 days. Well, like I was reading on Oral Yisrael, from Oral Nachri. We're not concerned. A Jew knows how to watch himself from Tumah. He's busy all day and night, guarding himself from Tumah. He goes to the mikvah. This year alone, he went 3 times to the mikvah after 7 days. He went to Levias, all that stuff. So we're not concerned he's going to make a mistake. After I had a bris, I went to the mikvah and I was able to eat it right away. He understands that was something else. Now, why does he have to go to the mikvah if he had a bris? It says he has a bris, goes to the mikvah. What's the shaykhas? Everybody that has a bris has to jump in the mikvah. So that's Taisus' question all the way on top. Second Taisus. Where's this halacha taken from? So there's all sorts of pirushim here. The Taisus Yantif says that the Gemara is just talking about a regular tefillah that Klall Yisrael, and we should know this as well, because it's coming up. You have to go to the mikveh before Yantif. Alila regular, you go to the mikveh. That's why on the way to Yerushalayim, you have all these mikvahs on the way. They found all these mikvahs. You have to go to the mikveh. However, the problem is that the Rishonim discussed this already, and the Rashi Rishan says, well, if that's the case, so then why isn't it brought in the Mishnah Chagiga? It only brings the other things they have to go to the mikveh. It doesn't say anything about a Aro. So then you have another Rishon that says, well, because it's so not shchiach, how many times does it happen? A guy has a bris, an adult has a bris, and he's going, so it wasn't mentioned. Fine. Akopanim, it's discussed. Taisus doesn't have an answer. Zog the Gemara, Tanya Mehachi. Omer Reb Shimon Lazar leNechleku B'Sham. It's the same thing again. No machlokes between B'Sham Yisrael Alor Yisroel Shetoy V'Oichel Pischol Erev. There is no machlokes. The whole point is a guy that had a bris milah. Same thing that we just discussed. Omar Rava. We're holding like 18 lines from the bottom. 18, 20 lines. You got it? Omar Rava. Nu sugya. Orel hazah v'zemel. The Gemara just throws out the words there. We're going to go into each one in depth. Orel, the one we just discussed. Hazah, sprinkling a mace with the ashes of paraduma. V'zemel, and the bris milah knife. Hamidu devreim b'mokim kares. Chachamim said, we will impose our will. We're going to make a gzeira. You are going to suffer, even though there's a chorus involved there. We don't care. You have to keep our gzeira. There's three that they imposed their gzeira. Oinen, umetzoira, ubeis hapras. And these three, and that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be discussing what these six things are. Oinen, umetzoira, ubeis hapras. Lo yemidu, devrei, b'mokim chorus. So in our mission itself, we have two things. We have an orel. This guy that just became a ger, he has a mitzvah d'oraisa to eat. It's unbelievable. He just became a ger, he's already chayiv kares. He's 1 hour into his Judaism. Shalom aleichem, you're chayiv kares. What? Yeah. I told you you shouldn't be Jewish. Fine. Hamidu chachamim, they said that's it. You can't bring a Korban Pesach. So, Zog the Gemara, let's go through them. Orel hodam maron. Orel's this guy that became a Jew. He does not bring a Korban Pesach, even though it's a kares. Chacham said, no, we're concerned. Why? We're very concerned that next year you're going to forget and not know the Hilchas Tumah. You have to wait 7 days. Hazah, Domamar, Hazah, Shvus. In this Masechta, I'm saying this Masechta is so full of concept of Shas, it's unbelievable. In this Masechta we had it. Hazah, Shvus. The sprinkling of the ashes of the Parah Adumah on the 3rd and 7th day on somebody who became Tamei from a maze is also to do on Shabbos, Shavuos, it's Isidor Rabbanon. Again, why? The famous concept of Shema Yolichenu Arba Amas B'Shus Harabim. Just like for the same reason we don't blow a shofar on Shabbos. What daf? Samach Tes. What's the siman? Suit. If you go to Zichru, it's on all daf. It's an amazing program. It actually gives you here. We have Levi live every day. He screams out what he remembers. Samach Tes is suit. Ooh. Rabbi said we have Menachem Aten in the house. Be careful. He's messing with you, Levi. Don't worry. He's messing with you. He does it to me too. He's getting nervous. He went back to Samach Tes to check it out. Oh, he's showing me. No, listen, it started, we have Rabbi Pessin, who knows Shas Baal Peh, and he gives speeches, and he says, in Erev and Daf Lamed Gimel, so there's always one clown in Shul who goes, no, it's Lamed Beis, Rabbi. And they go back and forth, and he starts quoting it, Baal Peh, Nachum got it, right? Okay. Not you. But now you do it. With Rabbi Pessin, you don't do it, but with Levi, you do it. But a suit is a suit. You can't argue with suit. Keshem, Shem. By the way, what's pay test? What simon is pay test? Oh no, I thought it's fat, but you know that's the sayik Shem Shem Mevim Oisei Derech Rishus Harabim Kach Emevin Oisei Derech Gagois. So again, we're very familiar with shofar. We're very familiar with lulav. What's the gzeira that you're going to start walking Rishus Harabim? Nobody really knows that pretty soon we're going to need this hazah business. The same exact gzeira applies. You might come to carry the bowl of the Parah Adumah, the Efer of the Parah Adumah. What? Megillah. Very good. Mamish coming up in Yonah D'Yoma. Zog the Gemara. Kishem Shem Mevim, and it's going to apply this year. Boys, you got to be careful. Erev Pesach. Do you do the final azah, the whole thing? No, it's Shabbos. So if you remember, in Erevin, we discussed this at great length. These are the reshuyos. These are only reshuyos midrabanan. The rooftop, a chotzer, and a karfaf. A karfaf is more than 2 saw, basically 50 amma by 100 amma, the size of the Mishkan. So about 100 feet by 200 feet. Shloi hukaf ladira. There's an open like a storage facility. You put your wood there. Remember? So that's a karfaf. So this is mid-araisa. If I walk from here into Rosh Hashanah, chayiv. That's the araisa. I can't go from Rosh Hashanah to Rosh Hashanah. Chacham said, don't carry here. Even though it's Rosh Hashanah, don't carry here. So these are what? Rishuyos d'Rabbanan. So says the Gemara, if I have a knife, and this is also machlokes we had in this Masechta. What's a knife? A knife is a hachana for a bris milah. The actual bris milah on Shabbos pushes off Shabbos. But what about the knife, creating the knife, making the knife? Could I bring it and carry it through this on Shabbos? So no. There's an argument going on here. Menachem Ateh says no, it's in Samachay, and he says Samachnad. What's the verdict? He's like, Zchus wins. It's in both. Okay. Oh, Menachem Ateh wasn't making it up. It's on Samachay as well. So Memelo what? I have a problem here. And this is an amazing halacha. You have a father, you hear this, Rabbi, we discussed this, and I think I said in error back then. I thought that the Reb Chaim said a P'sachidish, but then I looked it up, it's not like that. You have a father who has a son who has to have a bris milah. And I cannot perform the bris milah on Shabbos because I don't have a knife. But if I don't bring the knife, I can't do the milah, and if I don't do the milah, here's the chiddush. I cannot eat Korban Pesach. I can't eat Korban Pesach, my son doesn't have a milah. And he's mechuyev to have a milah. We were discussing it all the way in the Sechta if this happens in the night before. The night before is considered, he's an aral. This kid is an aral. And if he's an aral, and a person has a slave that's an aral, or a child that's an aral, he cannot eat the Korban Pesach. So this D'Rabbanan is putting him in a very bad position. He can't eat a Korban Pesach because of the D'Rabbanan of not carrying. Let's allow him, say this whole list of D'Rabbanan applies everywhere else, but not today because there's Issachar's. No, you don't have a knife, you can't carry it on a karfaf, on a gag. Very interesting chiddush. What about the fact that the son himself is chayiv karas? He's not getting a bris milah. Says Rashi, no. He's a katan. He's only 8 days old. Of course he's not chayiv karas. The person that doesn't have bris milah, he is chayiv karas, but later on in life, not when he's 8 days old. Oynein. Now we just discussed the 3 that Chachamim imposed their gzeira, and now the 3 that Chachamim didn't impose. Oynein, Hoda, Moron. As the Mishnah says, what the Gemara said, Lo yimidu Chachamim devreim b'makom kares. Chachamim didn't say, typically the person is oinen at night, and he shouldn't be eating a korban, he shouldn't be eating kachim. Now when it comes to Korban Pesach, he's allowed to eat the Korban Pesach. Mitzoyra mahi. What's the halacha by Mitzoyra desanya? Mitzoyra shechal shmini shloi be'erva Pesach. V'ro keri boi bayoim. You have a Mitzoyra. I don't know if this is the pasuk that we're looking for. Not really. Vishalchu min hamachane called tzarua. So you have here, just going back, just do a little chazara. You have the 3 machnos. The Mitzoyra hangs out. He has to come out of here. The Balkari can't be in here. So you have the Machne Shechina, Machne Leviah, Machne Yisroel. Mitzoyra has to go out of the machnos. The same Mitzoyra shechal shmini shloi be'erev Pesach. So that we also had another chazara. The Mitzoyra, when he goes through the whole process, and he goes to the mikvah, and now he's on the 8th day, and he's ready to stick his fingers into the Beis Hamikdash. Why? Where does he stand again? Sharni Koinar, right? There's one gate, there's no Kedusha. Why? Because we cannot bring the blood outside of the Beis Hamikdash, that's Yartzeit. He cannot go into the Beis Hamikdash because he's Tameh. So what does he do? He stands in a gateway that has no Kedusha. He sticks his thumb in. They sprinkle with blood, oil. He sticks his ear in. Remember, we did the Shalshelas thing. They yank his ear inside. So Rashi over there explains it over here as well. Mixas bia, loishma bia. He's just going in a little bit. It's a little bit of his thing. Or there's another shot. We were doichet completely. Fine. So that's how we accomplish the purification, the tahara of a Mitzoyra, by him standing in this funny place, and he also sticks his large toe, don't forget his large toe, the bayen, yad, regal, and his oizen. That's one of the processes. However, this guy became a Balkari. So it says like this. Yirchatz ba'moim. Uchavaya shemesh. What's chavaya shemesh? Hair of shemesh. When it becomes night, then he can return into the camp. So, toivel va'oichel. He could go back and he could do tefillah and he eats this mitzvah even though he's Balkari. Oru chachamim. Af al pisha tvul yoim. Eino nichnas. This guy is a tvul yoim. Hair of shemesh. He has to wait until nightfall, and then he could come into the machna. He has to wait until night. Not now. Ze nichnas. He could go in. Why? If he doesn't go in, he won't be able to eat the Korban Pesach. So let him go in. What's going on here? So we have, according to one pshat, we have the Isser Kares, which overrides this pasuk over here. Kares is stronger than Kivay HaShemesh. Wait until the night. No. I don't want him to be over on a Kares and not eating Korban Pesach. That overrides this. But Rabbi Yochanan, you should know something else. It's not even an Issa D'Oraisa. There's no pasuk that says he has to wait until the night. Rabbi Yochanan var Torah afilu asay ein boy. Shenemar v'yamoid yahoy shafat v'kal Yehuda. I got over the head a few days ago when I mentioned Amari Stadermeyer, whatever you pronounce, because his name is Yoshafat. Yoshafat, and so Yosef Biliak put his picture on whatever daf that was. I noticed, I'm not exaggerating, 300 more hits than a regular daf. Check it out. While you check it out, click on all the things. It's just whatever. There's a picture of Amari with a hat, and he's quoting. He says, Gemara is tougher, to do the daf is tougher than guarding Shaq. As I sagt. 300 more hits. It's, what is it called? Clickbait, whatever it's called. We got to do that more often. Fine. I'm going to put your picture on there today, so let's see. My Chotzar Chadasha is referring to the Harabayis. Shechitchu boy davar. They made a chiddush. Rabbanan instituted this gzeira of a person that's a carry. V'amru tul yoim lo yikanes b'machal levi. It says Rabbi Yochanan. Where did he get it from? What, he makes it up? It says Rashi, no. He got it from his Rabbeim. He had a Kabbalah from his Rabbeim. That what? This is a complete Rabbanan. And Rabbanan, they took a step back. They said, you know what? We're not going to mess around there when it comes to cars. We made a gzeira for tul yoim in a typical situation, but now when it comes to a person being chayiv cars for not eating a Korban Pesach. Beis HaPras. What's Beis HaPras? This is not. B'shavim b'sham b'silel sheboitkin lo yisi Pesach. We just turned to Daf Tzadik Beis Amud Beis. Sponsored by Kesher.org. Zchus for the struggling kids in pain of Klall Yisrael. For the Refuah Shelayma of all Cholei Yisrael. Amen. Especially for our MDY family, please consider joining MDY Tehillim group at tehillim.8mindaf.com. Beis HaPras is a field that had a grave and somebody plowed over the field. And it's very possible, but unlikely, that he dug up the grave and scattered fragments of bones all throughout the field. So the halacha is that you have to distance yourself 100 amma, 200 feet from the grave. It's very possible. Now, it's a very far out chashash. Well, he said, don't go there. So what do? Sheboitkim, everybody agrees. Sheboitkim loisei Pesach. You have to get there. And these guys are coming for Pesach. And they what, you're going to make them go around and this? They're coming. B'amrineim. Ve'in boitkim loichlei truma. You could check the field. There's a way to check the field. My boitkim. How do you check the field? There's three ways. The Gemara, the Rashi brings here two. Omer Rav Yehuda Omer Shmuel Minat Peach Beis HaPras V'hoilech. I don't know if you guys remember. Who remembers? What does it look like? What?
Favorite chart.
It's your favorite chart? The favorite chart. I forgot to bring it today, though. What are you talking about? This is what it looks like. You get down on all four, and you just blow your way around. You just constantly... Huh? Yeah, this could be your clickbait, Yosef, if you're watching. Lets you get some more views, Jordan or Amari. It's all about basketball, boys. Okay, anyways, I couldn't find the normal picture of a guy getting on all four and blowing. I just couldn't. This is it. But he's obviously has yarmulke, has tchelis, the whole thing. He's a frum guy, this guy. And he's demonstrating how you blow the fragments. Now, what's going on here? If you blow like that, so first of all, you're going to uncover the problem. And the whole problem is just touching. There's no problem of oil over here because we're not dealing with meat, we're dealing with bones. And the fragments of bones don't cause oil. But they do cause, if you touch it, lift it, then you become tamei. So you get down on your knees, you blow away. It's great. I saw the Achrei Medan, could you use a machine, a leaf blower, all these things. No, they say no. You see, from lungs, you have to use your mouth. Yes, no, yes. You can't use the leaf blower. Don't use your leaf blower. Get down on all four. You'll see people, I'm telling you. In a month from now, you'll see them walking through Bet Shemesh. Everybody's on their feet, going all the way to the Beis HaMikdash. Okay. If you see them blowing like that, don't make fun. So, Omer Rabbi Yehuda Mishmuel, Menaper Beis HaPras V'Hoylech. Rabbi Yehuda Bar Abai Mishmei Rabbi Yehuda Amar, Beis HaPras Nida Shtar. However, you don't have to do this if people constantly walk by there over and over. Why? They got rid of the bones. There are no bones. But that's halacha when it comes to Korban Pesach. As it says Mefurish. Korban Pesach, we move our chumrah away. But when it comes to Truma, it says Mefurish. We don't let them get on their knees. You want to eat Truma? Wait a few days. Eat it a different time. Go another way. We're not going to make this kula of blowing with your mouth. And with that, we finish. Hadran alocha isha, hadran alocha isha, hadran alocha isha. This is, okay, fine. Listen, you need to stick to your statistician thing. We'll leave all the singing for Nachman Seltzer. Shkoyach. Nachman's your chance. 10 minutes. That's it? No, it's 12 minutes actually. This perek is talking all about Pesach Sheni. Halach is a Pesach Sheni. What happens, and we discussed yesterday, what happens to us Cholei Yisrael? Let's say somebody asked the kasha, it was terrible kasha, terrible. What happens if Mashiach doesn't come before Pesach? Could we bring the carbon on Pesach Sheni? These are the halachas that we're discussing. Ish ki etamei lo nefesh. He touched a dead body, so he can't bring a carbon Pesach. Oy b'derech rechoika, or he was far away. So far away means he can't get there in time to bring the carbon Pesach. It also means any other kind of shoygig. He's a shoygig. He's far. He's an hour away from Yerushalayim. He's gonna miss it. And then it says, when does he bring his carbon Pesach? The second carbon Pesach. The second, in Iyar, second Pesach. You're sitting there with the pizza, with everything, there's nothing going on, and you're eating the carbon Pesach. That's it. It's halach and carbon Pesach. The halach and carbon Pesach, as we said yesterday, we mentioned the chukas HaPesach, the exact same halachas that we have in Pesach Rishon, we have in Pesach Sheni, a couple of differences. There's actually some halachas that are brought in Pesach Sheni that are not brought in Pesach Rishon. Says the Mishnah, Misha haya tamei, oy b'derech rechoika, v'lo yasa sarishon. He wasn't able to do the first one. Now, if we stop here, let's try to be Gemara for a second. V'lo yasa sarishon. What does that mean to you? V'lo yasa. He didn't do it. V'lo yasa means he couldn't do it or he didn't feel like doing it. What is the? If you just read it as is, no. What do you guys say? V'lo yasa. Doesn't say he wasn't able to. It says v'lo yasa. He didn't do it.
I would say he wasn't able.
You say he wasn't able to.
Question for not. He had itis.
That's not what it says. What do you say? Anybody else? It's a tough one. Right. No one is muchulak on you. No one says he didn't want to.
He says he realized
what?
What you're looking for. So he's giving
Menachem Ateh also said. Okay.
the words.
But I'm chayshah these two are known to look at the daf over beforehand. Menachem Ateh already winked to me. Fine.
I want the Pashup Shad, I could give you Pashup Shad.
That's your Pashup Shad. Fine. Let's see what the Gemara says Pashup Shad is. Yasis Hasheni. If he can't, he didn't, for whatever reason, Sheni. We're going to see exactly. Was it on purpose, by accident? Shogag oinenas. He had a shoygig. In other words, he forgot what day it was, let's say. A shoygig. He miscalculated the calendar. Oinenas. He literally had a oinas. Somebody grabbed him, didn't let him go. V'layasas arishayin. And we're going to see in the Gemara an amazing chiddush, that this includes also someone who deliberately didn't bring a Karban Pesach. He said, I don't want to bring, I want to be a Russia. He was off the derech during Pesach. He realized how beautiful Pesach is. He saw the Yidden and Klall, and he did tshuva. It was too late. So a guy like that could bring a Karban. We're going to see in the Gemara today. He could bring a Karban Pesach Sheni. Yasis Sheni. Why does the Torah give you two examples? But Rashi says, we're not even talking about the Tamei part. We're talking about this, b'derech rechoika. What's the example of b'derech rechoika? Just say. He had a shaygig. Says the Mishnah, interesting lashon. that we need a Gemara for this. She'elu pturim mikares ve'elu chayavim bikares. There are some people that are potter from kares, some are chayiv. We're going to see the Gemara for that. Itmar. Hoyer b'derech rechoika v'shachak tu v'zarku olav. He was far away. He was far away, and other people brought a carbon for him. In other words, he had a shliach. Does a shliach work in a carbon Pesach when a guy is a couple of hours away? He's in Eilat on vacation. He said, calls up, hey, do a carbon Pesach for me. Does it work? Rav Nachman Omar hurtza, Rav Sheshes Omar lo hurtza. Machlokes. And guess who we passing like? Lo hurtza. Lo hurtza. Always when you have machlokes, Rav Nachman Rav Sheshes. Depends. Mamanas Yisurim. Halach like Rav Sheshes. Lo hurtza. I just saw an interesting thing. It's almost related to this, because we're talking about remote. Everything today is remote. We're learning remotely today. On Zoom, learning remotely. Everything remote. He calls up, hi, I need a carbon Pesach done for me. Here, I'm too lazy to come to Yerushalayim, do it for me. Lo Yurtza doesn't work. You're not mechuyev to. It's not ma'akev. Yeah. Where you could. First of all, no, we said it's not ma'akev. The achil is not ma'akev. First of all, oh, you mean because at the end, he's right to eat, just he can't. What? He can't make it in time to eat it. Right? He cannot. He cannot. No, weird. No. He says he can't. He can't. Okay. Anyway, so I want to tell you a Maisa. If somebody knows where this Maisa is, let me know. I heard a Maisa about Reb Moshe. A Maisa about Reb Moshe Feinstein. Somebody called him up and said, I missed my son's bar mitzvah, but I want to know if I could say Baruch Shepatrani on the phone. So Reb Moshe told him, a guy like you who misses his son's bar mitzvah, you're doing chinuch remotely, forget about Baruch Shepatrani. Baruch Shepatrani is not for you. Baruch Shepatrani is somebody that was there, being mechanech his kid. He could say Baruch Shepatrani. You're not even mechanech. Where are you? Today you're waking up. You want to know if you could say the bracha. It doesn't apply to you. It's a very stark Reb Moshe. I know it's not so much. That's why I said if somebody knows where this mice is, let me know. Yeah, it's a gronik. On the Gemara. You're saying it's just that, but for some reason it's like, so you're saying he could eat it. That's what you're saying. Le'erev Yavai. Says Noam, points out Noam, that we're talking about Rav Schomburg. For some reason, I licked me in cup that he couldn't come all the way to the night. I don't know why. Okay, mistake. What? No, I know what the thing is. So he's going to make it to eat it. That's what you have to say. Okay, very good. Yishkoyach. There's a lot of traffic going. Itmar. Yeah, okay, we had that. So, Rav Nachman Omar Hurtza, Mechasu the Chos Rachman Olav. At the end of the day, the Torah Rachman said, you don't have to come. Be ovid, but if you're able to do, send a shliach, Torah bracha. If you can't do it, you have Pesach Sheni to rely on. If you could send a shliach, go ahead. Rav Sheshes Omar Lehurtza, Mitcha Dachi Rachman Ketamei. He has halacha like a tamei. It's a complete tchiyah. He's pushed off completely. No. What's my raya? This not. Misha tamei. And it says in the Mishnah, he's on his way, or or on the way. Yasis Hasheni can't do it on the first. He does it on the second Pesach. Klall, the boy of it. The pashut mashmaz the lashon is v'lo asas harishayin. He didn't feel like doing it. It doesn't say v'lo yachal v'lo yasa. He didn't feel like doing it. So it's a good raya, says Rav Nachman, that at the end of the day he could have. How? With a shliach. He just didn't do it. That's why he has Pesach Sheni. Rav Sheshes Malach ihachi seifa. But wait a minute. You're making a very nice deal. But look at the end of the Mishnah. So do the same exact deal in the seif of the Mishnah. Seifa diktani shogag oinenas v'lo yasas harishayin yasis hasheni. It says a person forgot that it is Pesach today. He miscalculated the calendar. V'lo. Now all of a sudden it sounds like Nachman. V'lo. It can't mean that he had the option but he didn't want to. He didn't have the option. If he forgot that it's Pesach, how did he have the option? If he's in a jail, somebody's holding him down forcefully, he had an oines, how does he have the option? What does v'lo mean? So in that case, you're masking to me that v'lo means that he had no option. So he couldn't. He pasha couldn't because he didn't know. It wasn't in his head. So in the Sefer, that's what it means. In the Reish, it also has to mean the same thing. So fine. So now the Gemara says in Upshat. What it means is no. It means v'lo like we were learning, that he didn't feel like doing it. But we asked, how could it be? He's a shaygig. He's a oines. How's it possible that he didn't feel like? Oh, because you must stick in, because it's so powerful, v'lo is so powerful that it means he didn't feel like it. It's obvious that the Mishnah is talking about a third case that's not mentioned in the Mishnah. The case is amazed. He didn't feel like doing it. He knew about Pesach. They said, come, let's go. Mashiach just came. Let's go. No, I don't want to do it. In a case like that, he brings a korban on Pesach Sheni. Oy bazoi. And therefore, in the first part of the Mishnah, if we're going to stick in another case, we learned what? Where did we learn this? Yesterday. In the Mishnah, Daf Tzadik Aleph, Amud Aleph, the top word, or the last word in Tzadik Amud Beis, yesterday's Daf. Ha'oinen. Shoichatin aleim, says the Mishnah. You could send the shliach. If a person is a oinen, he could send the shliach, and then at night, he gets to eat it. So we have to add this case. We're going to add a case. Omer Avashi, masnisa na midaiko. It flows right in. Diktani, elu pturim yikaris, ve'elu chayovim bikaris. The last words in the Mishnah. These guys are potter from karis, these guys are chayiv in karis. He says, ahaya. What is it going on? What's going on here? He's only a shaygig. How could he get karis if on a shaygig? A guy's held down forcefully. He's chayiv karis. It's talking about the two cases that we just added. There is a karis if a person is a einain. Nebuch, he lost a loved one, and he's so fatumult, and he's burying, and he has paid him. But if you don't bring a korban Pesach, chorus, you should know you get chorus. And amazed for sure, we understand. No, it's only talking about amazed and not oinen. So what's your whole proof that we're talking about oinen? Because it says in the Mishnah, look at the lashon. The Mishnah says the lashon of rabbim. Ve'elu chayovim. These are the ones that are chayiv and chorus. We're talking about two cases. What we didn't do by them is the chayav, singular. I did tani chayavin. I did tani reish pturin. Tani zevinami chayavin. All right, I guess we could stop here. Rabbi Say, have a wonderful day. Welcome all. Keep on coming. Bring your friends until we hear otherwise, I guess. Shira ma'alois, mama kim gosichad. Adonai, Shmo b'Klall, Dinez of Yisroel. Adonai Tishmoyo, Adonai Miyamoy. Zan Gibson Nafshi Dvar Cholti. Nafshi Ladinoi, Shemrim LaBoiker, Shemrim LaBoiker. Pesach Ladinoi, Adonai Chesed VaBetzos. Adonai Yisroel Kol Adonai Yisroel V'Achin Yisroel Yisroel Anasulum B'Sov Yishuv Yoim Ben Bayom or Ben Bayim. Hamokim Yirachem Aleim. Yitzim L'Tzor LaBocham Shtov. Gazman Kolim B'Nim Amen. Rabbi Say Shachris at 8:05. Starting at 8:05.
What, is it a new Shachris?
Yeah, right now. 8:05 Shachris. Right now.
I hope you're melting in the song. I did it a year ago in Prem Morning. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
From Misha Mason to the fun.
Shkoyach. Hold on, gotta get these guys. We got 5 minutes, Rabbi Say. Oh. Hey, yo, Mizrahi, Shalom Aleichem. Shkoyach for the email. Shkoyach for the sponsorship. Good morning, Joël. What's gonna be here? Do we have a minion? Shachris. What do you say? Half a capacity. Half. You're allowed to have up to half a capacity. Our capacity is 200. No. It was more like 50 people, I think. How many people showed up today, Rabbi Sai? Anybody know? Hold on a second. Time out, Mati. I see a guy that says Dina and something Stefan. This guy's a Stefansky. What's going on here? Shalom Aleichem, Stefansky. Shalom Aleichem. Where are you from? First of all, what's your name? Moshe Chaim Stefansky. Shalom Aleichem. What are you doing on Zoom, Moshe Chaim? Gewaldig. How you doing? Are you driving now? No, you're not driving. This is my cousin. Rabbi said this is my cousin. No, that's a Stefansky with an I, not a Y. Big difference. Big nafkemina. Huh? Not a Y. Big difference. Big nafkemina. Huh? Every time I hear his name, like they say, Kevin Stefansky, like, oh, whoa, it shocks me every time, all anew. Me jealous? No, he's jealous of me. He wants to give a daf shir. Jealous. 49 weeks ago. There's another what? Great day. Yeah. He's doing great. Baruch Hashem, he's back in yeshiva. Everything is normal. He's going for some tests and stuff, but I think it's going to be okay. It's good. I see Reb Aaron Yosef. I see him. Shalom Aleichem, Reb Aaron Yosef. Shalom.
Did you see the other Admor on Zoom?
There's only one Admor. Who is he? No, I'm not Admor. I'm not the Admor. Who's this Admor you're talking about?
Look on your Zoom.
The problem is my screen is really messed up. Okay, let me look around. Oh, you're talking. Oh, I see the bobblehead one. Who? That's his Rebbe next to him. What's that? Oh, that's the Maurice. Maurice. He's an Amoritz and Amaratzim. Aaron is so far away from being an Amoritz, he doesn't know what Amoritz is.